Don't forget to like and subscribe to Jolie Knots Crochet. Hit share, go ahead and share with your friends, or you can hit that little bell to get notifications when new patterns release.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Jolie Knots Crochet. I'm Crystal, and today we are going to be making this really cool, real looking spider web. I've made a couple of these, smaller sizes, larger sizes. I'm going to teach you the general idea of it so that you can grow it to the sizes that you want, whether you leave it to approximately this size or a bigger size like the one that you are seeing right now. That one was really awesome. I made that one last year.
Now you can really use any kind of yarn for this project. I used a worsted weight yarn with a 6mm hook. I also did my really large one double stranded worsted weight for with an 8mm hook. So even if you do the smaller size, of course it'll be a little bit larger. This pattern will come in two sizes. There's a small size all the way up through 8 rounds, and there's a large size all the way up through 12 rounds. Now, the written pattern will be linked in the description box below, and this video tutorial is on the small size web. So go ahead and take a look there. You can also join the Jolie Knots Crochet community group on Facebook and show us what you have created.
The yarn that we're using today is just a regular worsted weight yarn. I'm using a 5.5mm hook, and we're just going to be working in rounds. All right, so to get started, we're going to take a slip knot. We are going to chain 4, slip stitch to the first chain to create a ring. All right, so now we are going to chain 4. This chain 4 is going to count as our first double treble crochet. Okay, and then we're going to chain 3. We're going to have a chain 3 space between our double trebles. So to do our first double treble, we are going to wrap the yarn around our hook 3 times, working into your ring that you created. You are going to pull up a loop and take off 2 loops at a time. And now you're going to chain 3 and do the same thing. Wrap your yarn 3 times, go into the ring, and take off 2 loops at a time. Chain 3. Wrap 3 times, and continue. We're going to have 3 chains in between all of our double trebles.
You should now have 12 double trebles.
Separated by chain 3s. We're going to count up 4 chains on our hook and slip stitch to join. And this is what the beginning of your spider web should look like. For round 2, we're going to chain 6. Go ahead and put a stitch marker into that last chain, just help to make things a little bit easier for counting later on. Now we're going to chain 5. Here in this round, we did double trebles. Now in round 2, we're going to do triple trebles. So what we're doing is we're wrapping our yarn 4 times and taking off 2 loops at a time. Chain 5, wrap your yarn 4 times, go into your next stitch. We're skipping all of our chain spaces. Chain 5, wrap your yarn 4 times, go ahead and complete that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning of the next round.
Okay, here we are at the end of round 2. You should now have 24 stitches separated by chain spaces, and you will slip stitch to join.
And this is what our work should look like. Now for this next round, we are going to chain 6 again. Go ahead and put your stitch marker. And now in between, we're going to chain 8. We're going to wrap our hook 4 times still, so we're still doing that triple treble. Working into each stitch, we will pull off 2 loops at a time. Chain 8. Wrapping our hook 4 times. Going into the next stitch. Okay, so that is the end of your round 3. You're going to go ahead and slip stitch to your stitch marker chain. That would be your 6th chain up. We're going to remove our stitch marker and we're going to chain 6 more. Go ahead and put your stitch marker back into your 6th stitch. And now we're going to chain 8. We're also going to do triple trebles in this row. So you're going to wrap your hook 4 times and we're going to work that triple treble into the same starting stitch. Chain 8. And working into the next stitch over here, we're going to go ahead and wrap your yarn and work that stitch. So you should have 2 in this one, 1 stitch in this one, and now in this one we're going to work 2, separated by chains of 8. Your round 4 should be looking like this. You've got 2 stitches, 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 1 stitch. So here you're going to increase 2 stitches, work that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. Okay, so here we are at the end of our 4th round. We've slip stitched. And for this round, we're going to chain 7. Go ahead and place your stitch marker back in. And in between our stitches, we are going to chain 11. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, working our stitches, we're going to wrap our hook 5 times. And working 1 into each stitch. 1 of these really long stitches into each one with 11 chains in between. 11, wrapping our hook 5 times. and into our next stitch, we're going to remove 2 loops at a time. And this is now what your work should look like here. All right, so go ahead and repeat that, and I will meet you back. All right, here we are. We've completed round 5. Getting started on round 6, we are going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Move your stitch marker up. And now in between these stitches, we're going to put 14 chains. So if you're noticing what the pattern is now, we're making our height 1 higher, and then our stitch counts 3 wider. So our 8, we're chaining 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now we are going to wrap our hook 6 times. Keep your finger on there so it doesn't unravel and untwist. And we're going to remove 2 loops at a time. Just like that. So it should look like this. Now you're going to do the same thing. Chain 14. Your long stitch is wrapping your hook 6 times. Chaining 14 6 times and into the stitch, and I will meet you back at the beginning of the next round. All right, here we are at the end of round 6. As you can see, our rows are growing approximately 2 inches all the way around per row, so about 4 inches in diameter. The size of this after our round 6 is about 24 inches. The diameter is about 24 inches. So I'm gonna go, let's go another row too and see how we like it. For round 7, we are going to chain 9. 8, 9, move our stitch marker up. And now in between, we are going to chain 17. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Wrap your hook 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep your finger there so it can be nice and secure. Work into your next stitch and take off 2 loops at a time. And that's what we should look like now. All right, chain 17. Wrap your hook 7 times. Working into your next stitch. Take off 2 loops at a time. chain 17. So go ahead and continue that, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. All right, here we are at the end of round 7. I'm gonna do one more round. Let's see the size of this spider web so far. 17 times 2, that's about 35, 36 inches. I'm gonna go one more round so we can make this a 8 round 4-foot web ish. I don't know how long it'll be, but it'll be over 3 feet in diameter. So getting started on round 8, we're going to chain 10. Oops, and 10. Move your stitch marker up. This time we're going to have 20 chains in between our long stitches. Now, working into our next stitch, we're going to wrap our hook 8 times. Make sure to keep your finger on there nice and tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're taking off 2 loops at a time 10 times. That's why we chain a height of 10. Now we're chaining 20 in between, and you're going to repeat that all the way around. I'm going to show you how to put our straps on, our ties. We're going to connect ties, not to the end of all of them, but to the end of some of them, and then that way you have stuff to tie them to as an outdoor decoration. All right, go ahead and finish that up, and I will meet you back here to put the ties on. Okay, so here we are. We have just completed round 8. That's going to be my stopping point. Our diameter is 4 feet. So I think that's pretty good for my outdoor decoration. Now for the ties can really be any length. If you have something that is far that you're gonna tie your spider web to, then you want your ties to be a little bit longer. So I'm gonna make mine pretty medium, and I'm gonna chain 50. So chaining 50 right from here. All right, so I've just chained 50, and it's about 20 inches long. I'm actually going to go a little bit longer because I think I'm going to need to reach farther than 20 inches. So let's go 20 more. All right, so now I've got 70. I'm just going to snip the end of that and pull it tight. And here's where I started. Now we have 15 long stitches, so evenly spread out with 5 ties, I can put 1 tie in every 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. That's got one, and now I'm going to put one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a slip knot. I think it would be really silly to need to weave in ends on a spider web. So what we're going to do is we're just going to join it all together. Work it like one piece of yarn, okay? and then go ahead and chain your 50, your 70, your 100, however length you need for your ties. So you should have a tie, one tie at the beginning, skipping 2 stitches. See it better like this. One tie at the beginning, skipping 2 stitches, putting another tie in your 4th, skipping 2 stitches, and now we're going to add another tie here. So go ahead and add your ties. You should have 5 ties all the way around, and I will meet you back to show you some photos of what we've come up with and how we've hung it out and how we've hung it up into our yard.
Okay, so we've just got to get creative with our spider web when we're tying it up and putting the ties on it. And that's just like a spider's going to do. None of it's ever going to look perfect. Also depending on where you put it. So here I got creative there and I tied it up to a zip tie. Tied it up here to the top, one of the bars, and another bar over there from the overhead awning. And then I put a zip tie here and pulled all that so it's nice and tight together. And then I tied them to the bottom here. So you're just gonna get creative with what you're doing. Get creative like a spider. It's gonna look different in every section or any place you put it in.
All right, everybody, take a look at how these turned out. 4 feet in diameter. You can pull the ties to any way that you like so that they fit. You can make the ties longer if you need to, extend them, shorten them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this spiderweb tutorial. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know what other kind of tutorials you'd like to see, and I will see you next time.